Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
I think you can probably hear me even without the mic, right? With my loud voice. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about systems and how to grow your business. So I think there's two things that are really important when you talk about growing a business, and that's relationship. You hear a lot of times our business is a relationship building business. People want to do business with you because they feel like you care about them. People want to join your team because you care about them. So we really want to build those relationships. And if you have systems in place, it's going to help you to build those relationships. And the second thing that's really important is it's a numbers game. If you want bookings, you have to be doing shows. You know, you can't just sit around. So the more you do shows, the more bookings you're going to get. The more you're in front of people, the more people you have to present the opportunity of the business and those kind of things. So those are two things that are really important. I'm just going to kind of tell you a little bit of like some numbers, 6 numbers that are going to be really important. And the first 3 numbers are 3, 2, 1. 3 is 3 contacts a day for 5 days a week. 2 is 2 shows a week, and 1 for 1 recruit a month. So if you're doing that on a daily basis, then your business is going to just automatically grow. And I'm going to tell you, if you're doing these things, everything falls into place. Like, I know it, I live it, and I believe it. So your business is going to go up and down, but if you're constantly contacting those people and, you know, getting those bookings, it's going to come back and you're going to build a business. So 3 contacts a day. That's just like when you go to shows or if you're doing virtuals and you have drawing slips or surveys that you do virtually. You know, just look at those and make notes on them. People that, you know, participated a lot, people that really liked the products, people that were outgoing, you know what I mean? And just make little notes. So when you're going through your shows and you need to contact 3, just kind of pull out the 3 that stuck out to you from your shows on the weekend or whatever. If you're doing 3 contacts a day, 5 days a week, you're building relationships with 15 people every week. Is that amazing? Like, it doesn't sound like a lot, 3 a day, but when you put it all together, it kind of makes, it's kind of nice, you know, that you're building those relationships on a weekly basis. So 2 shows a week. If you, you know, you're like, I can't do 2 shows a week. But if you look at your calendar and you mark off things that are important to you and important to your family obligations and those kind of things, you can find time to do 2 shows a week. Or if you can't do it that week, just kind of do an extra one another week and those kind of things. Because when you're in front of people and you're doing those 2 shows a week, you're just you're hitting so many people, and everything else is gonna fall into place. And then the 1 recruit a month. I mean, Kathy talks so much about recruiting, and it's really just about sharing the opportunity. And the way you share the opportunity is to be in front of people. So you just want to share. It's a numbers game. I mean, it's so a numbers game. If you're only doing 1 show a month, you're not going to recruit. If you're doing, you know, 8 shows a month, you're in front of all those people. You're going to automatically just recruit. People love our business. People want to join our teams, and it's just an amazing thing. So so that's the first thing. And also, like, 2 shows a week, you think, oh my God, that's a lot. But really, the more you do, the easier it is to keep your business growing. And I know that for a fact. If you're doing 1 show every other week, when it's time for that show, you're like, okay, I gotta pack my bag. Okay, what am I gonna say? You know, it's like starting over every time. Whereas if you're constantly doing 2 shows a week, it flows. Your bag's packed, you know what to say, you just kind of flow into that routine. So more is better than less. And then the second thing I want to talk about is 2-2-2. 2 days, this is like following up. It's building those relationships. So 2 days after your party, I do 24 hours. Well, I try to do 24 hours. And that contact right after the show is just to kind of say, thanks for coming to the show. It was great meeting you. Thanks for your order. It's just to show that you care. And when you do that, you're going to see people respond back to you. Like, I had people at shows that, no, I don't want to do a show. When you're at checkout, they're like, no, no. But when you reach out to them the next day, they're like, you know, I think I want to do a show. So you're right. You're fresh in their mind. So doing that first 24-hour or 2-day follow-up is just going to keep you in the front of their mind. 2 weeks, 2-week follow-up, that's kind of just building the relationship. You want them to know, you want them to be loyal to you and know that you care about them. So that's just like, hey, did you get your products? Did you take it out the box? Is everything okay? Just making sure that they, they got everything, nothing was broken. Was their order correct? You can ship it back 30 days, free shipping. So you want to catch them in that 2-week period because that's going to save them from shipping it back and having to pay for it, So that's great. And then the 2-month. 2-month, you've already built that relationship. You've contacted them, you've told them thank you, they know you care, you reached out about the products, and so now you can say, hey, like I'm just checking on you, making sure, how's your products going, what are you using, and that's where you can say, present booking idea, like, ask them for if they want to book a show, ask them if they want to join your team, and that way it's not like a cold call where you don't even know who they are, they're just a contact in your system. You've actually built that relationship with them. So 3-2-1, 2-2-2, if you follow those and do those little tasks every day, your business is just going to grow and it's just going to be amazing. All right?
Woo! System on tracking that.
Okay, I didn't talk about my system. Okay, so I learned this from Kathy and Julie, my box system. If you went through LEAD, they talk about a box. So you just get a box and I make a little index card and I have it printed up with information. So every time somebody books a show, I have a host card and it has their name and address and all their information on it and a checklist of what I want to check off. Sending them their packets, setting up their Facebook event, all those kind of things. Host coaching, and then the follow-up. So on their card, it has everything. So as I do it, I check it off. I have one for my consultants, and then I have random pieces of paper, drawing slips and those kind of things. So the box has the cards with the 12 months that you can get at Office Depot, and the numbers 1 through 31. So as you do something like if I create a show for a host, I send her packet, I set up her show. When do I need to contact her again? In 2 weeks. So I take her card and I put it 2 weeks later. If I have somebody that, it's great because if somebody, you don't want to forget people, and if you have a system, which is so important, whether it's my system or your system or anybody's system, if you have a system, then you won't forget things. Like if I have somebody that I do a return for, I want to make sure they got the return. So I'll put so-and-so's name, return, bar pan, and I stick it like 2 weeks later in the box. So when I get to that day, I pull out all my papers for whatever I have. Oh, I need to reach out to this consultant. I need to do this for the, yes, Mary?
Do you do the same thing for the guests at the party? I think that's what she's asking.
Is that what you mean?
Well, I like that information too, but yeah, when you're tracking your guest people, do they go into that system?
Do you make cards for the guests as well?
So I use their drawing slips.
Okay.
Is that what you mean? And I clip them onto the back of the host card. And so when like 24 hours, I pull out that host card and I have all their drawing slips. Thank you for your order, those kind of things. And I keep them, and in the 2 weeks, I keep them all together. Now after that, I kind of sift through who didn't answer me, who maybe, and I kind of get rid of those, but I keep the ones that are important that show potential in joining the business, potential in booking a show, those kind of things. And then after the 2-week follow-up is where I remove those and I just sort those randomly.
Theresa,
Does that make sense?
do you use the host information sheet from Consultants Corner to track what you're doing with your host, or do you have your own that you've made
I
up?
kind of made up my own.
Okay, maybe tell them that there is something like that on
On
Consultants.
Consultant's Corner. The host checklist?
Yes,
Yes.
so that if they're starting this.
Oh, sorry. They're talking about that in host coaching.
What?
In host coaching.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, Nicole? Does that make sense, Mary? Yes. So I know Bobby has a binder, and she keeps all her stuff in a binder, and she just moves it from one protective folder to the next. But if you don't have a system, it'll never work. And so you have to find what works for you. And Julie Aldridge and Kathy Cocazelle at LEAD, where you talked about the box, who was at LEAD. And it just worked for me. I liked it. So that's the system that I use.
the same one.
Do you? Yeah. And I get little index cards, and I get those little pads, not the sticky ones, just the ones, and I have little papers, and I just write and I drop it in those 2 weeks from now, next month. If I have somebody that wants to book a show, they like the stoneware. So I'll put theirs and put really like stoneware. So whenever it's time for the stoneware, host special, you can contact them and those kind of things, So it's just to have a system.
Love it. That was great. That was good.